Since you've clicked on this video, you're probably thinking, oh god, is this another one of those can you beat X without doing Y type of videos? You will be correct. But trust me, this challenge was brutal. I had to perform tricks that you've never seen before, not in speedruns, not in glitch showcases, not in any other Spyro challenges. Before we start, we need to quickly establish some rules. First, only direct kills of all living beings count. This includes all enemies who can be considered to be alive, all bugs and critters around the levels, as well as the game's 4 bosses. It only counts as a kill when an enemy dies by a character I control, so enemies killing themselves as well as enemies killing each other will not count. Second, glitches are not allowed. There are a couple of existing challenge runs that are kind of trivialized by the use of game-breaking glitches, and I wanted this one to be different. Since I won't be able to use glitches, I will have to pay money bags every time, as well as satisfy all egg requirements, which ultimately means my goal is to get 100 eggs to unlock the door to the Sorceress. Now, let's begin. After starting a new game and choosing Sparks as the game file icon, at first I thought he would be the most pacifist, forgetting that his kill count is probably the highest in the whole game. We start in the first home world, Sunrise Springs. And after getting a few gems and our very first egg, we enter the first level, Sunny Villa. This is a very straightforward level, where the enemies do not even want to fight you, so you can easily get 2 eggs here and go straight to the end. Oh, there is a Rhinoc that we have to kill to open the gate, and we are required to get to the end of every single level and talk to the NPC to get them to come to the hub world and be able to proceed to the next one. So, is this it? We haven't even started and we already have to resort to murder? Well, not exactly. You see, in Spyro 3 any percent speedruns, runners do not kill this Rhinoc. Instead, they do this. This trick is called a proxy, and here's how it works. I don't know. Look, first of all, it's clearly a glitch. Second, to even perform it, we have to kill an enemy, which is, surprise, something we wish to avoid. So it violates both of our rules. But if we could find another way to get to the top of this building and pass through the roof, which I would count as out of bounds, but definitely not a glitch, we could skip killing that poor innocent Rhinoc. The trick that would potentially allow us to get to the top is called Swim in Air and involves tricking the game to think that Spyro is in the water when he's not. And we could do it right here, but again, it is a glitch. God, who even came up with those rules? After searching around on YouTube for quite some time, I have found my glimmer of hope, Aho41. This person did exactly what I wanted, without using glitches, using only pure skill. They directly recorded their CRT 17 years ago, knowing that this will help some guy in the future to achieve his goal, and they did this. That's right. It is possible to get to the top of that building without using glitches with a very tight jump, glide, and hover. Now it is time to use this knowledge bestowed upon me by Aho41 to do the same. Here we go. Okay, the first try was not very good, but it's okay, we try again. The second try was not any closer, but third time's a charm, right? Okay, it might be a little harder than I thought. And by a little harder, I mean a lot harder. Actually, I've tried this for 2 hours. I've tried it again and again and again and was failing every single time. I've perfectly aligned myself, jumped at the last moment, started gliding in the peak of the jump and hovered at the most optimal moment and still nothing. I was getting close, but it was never enough. But Aho41, they couldn't cheat, right? They wouldn't betray me. No. Not Aho41. Actually, there is another video from Shadow Dragon LL doing the exact same thing, and doing it easily. Am I just not a true gamer? Well, there is one small thing I can think of that might somehow prevent me from doing the same trick. You see, PlayStation 1 had two different versions of the same console: NTSC, sold in USA and Japan, and PAL, sold in Europe. The same two versions existed for most PS1 games, including Spyro 3, and I originally chose the NTSC version since it ran the game more smoothly, at 60 frames per second instead of 50 for PAL. These versions are usually completely the same otherwise. But in my desperation I've tried downloading the PAL version just to see if I could replicate this trick. And I immediately started getting much closer to the edge. And only after 30 minutes of trying, I did this. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god. I did it. Oh my god. Oh no, I killed an enemy! Oh! Yeah, since I was just trying it out, I killed an enemy at the very start and didn't bother resetting the level. Which means I have to do it again. But wait, this doesn't make sense. The NTSC version and PAL versions should be the same. Moreover, all of the top speedrunners of Spyro 3 use the NTSC version, which means it should be better in terms of movement. Why would the level geometry, or physics, or literally anything else change? Thinking that I just got lucky, I've tried the NTSC version again, and nothing. I couldn't get it at all. And after creating a new game file in PAL version of Spyro 3, and not killing anyone this time around, I did it the second time in 4 minutes. Call me crazy, but there is a difference between the versions. I don't know what it is, and if you know, please let me know in the comments. Or maybe you'll be able to get it using the NTSC version and I was just that bad. Anyway, we got the NPC to come with us and earned another egg. While I was here and scared that the gate will not open again, I quickly visited the skateboard section, which unfortunately I couldn't do since I would have to brutally catch the lizards. Instead I collected all of the gems, recollected all of the other eggs again, and was able to finally leave this godforsaken level. And if you thought that this trick was difficult, well, you'll see. We will pick up 2 more eggs in this overworld and proceed to Cloud Spires. This level is very easy, the enemies can be avoided without any issues. You have to pay money bags, but other than that it's pretty chill. Unfortunately we can only pick up 2 eggs here. The egg from the final NPC and the egg in the sun minigame. Other eggs we cannot get. 2 of them are blocked by big guys, and no matter how hard I've tried, I was not able to find a spot where the animation of getting the egg could be triggered. 1 egg is stolen by a thief that we have to kill to get it, and another one involves killing flying spirits. Now you can argue that these spirits are not actually alive, but I still want to be fair. After returning to the hub world, we can pay moneybags once again and free our first alternative playable character, Sheila. And oh boy, we are in for a total massacre. The main goal of the Sheila's Alp is to escort these 3 lovely ghosts to their homes. Unfortunately, these goats are cowards and will not move an inch if there is danger ahead of them. At the first goat stop, Pete the goat asks Sheila to brutally murder a rhino that is just peacefully walking around, and he or his brothers will not move until he's dead. I've tried running around him and noticed that sometimes he slightly clips inside the wall. I thought that maybe if I was able to push him further, he would fall off the map and die by completely natural causes. I ran around for quite a while but wasn't able to push him far enough. So what now? Before I decided to try this for even longer, I wanted to know if it was even possible for enemies to actually die inside the walls. Luckily, there is a moose inside a cave that is a perfect candidate for this experiment. I've baited it so it would fall, and when I tried getting back to its original spot, it just disappeared. Now it still wasn't clear if the moose actually died or was sent straight to the back rooms. For now I've tried to progress the level by temporarily killing the rhino and getting the first egg. The remaining 2 goats went inside the cave and were stopped by another moose blocking their path. If I could just force this moose to disappear as well, I could progress without killing it. And, as it turns out, if you bait the moose to come behind this torch, and then block the moose's path back by standing between the torch and the wall, the moose actually disappears. We did it. We eliminated the moose without killing it. Now we can... Oh no. The goats, they are still not moving. They still want the moose dead. Which means... this will not work. Not with the first Rhinoc, not with the moose, not with any other enemy. And yes, I've also tried to force them to kill each other, but it didn't work at all. So, let the massacre begin. In total we had to kill 9 enemies, 7 Rhinocs and 2 mooses? Meese? Fortunately 2 of the cows could be spared, but this is still 9 kills already. Sheila is a brutal mass murderer, but there is still hope for Spyro. Even if his friend is a maniac, he's still a poor and innocent soul, so we continue with a glimmer of hope in our hearts. After grabbing the last 2 eggs in Sheila's Alp and all the remaining eggs in Sunrise Springs, we can continue to the 4th level, Molten Crater. There are a couple of really annoying enemies like wild boars and shield dudes, as well as big guys with whips. It was difficult to get through them because I was too afraid to charge past the enemies since I could accidentally kill someone. Moreover, I couldn't heal because I am not allowed to kill any bugs. And even though I got a game over, I finished the level and got only 2 eggs again. Yeah, 2 of the eggs are in the Sergeant Byrd stage that is currently locked, and 2 more are in the area blocked by moneybags, but both are stolen by thieves, so there was no point in unlocking it. But since we have Sheila now, we can return to Sunny Villa and do her subsection. Despite her apparent thirst for blood, luckily we can complete it without killing anyone. The only tricky section is this corridor, but we can squeeze through just like that. And despite failing more times than I would like to admit, eventually we reach the top of the tower and...
Marco sent you here. I've got a restraining order against him.
Huh? Anyway, we have enough eggs to enter the final level of the first world. Seashell Shore. Again, it is quite tricky navigating it while carefully avoiding anyone. We can easily get an egg that is sitting underwater, pass through big half-naked barrel tossers and enter the Sheila subsection once again. There is one very easy egg hidden away and another we have to earn by completing a minigame. Now, there are cannons in this level which are clearly not alive. They just explode without any indication that there are enemies spanning them, so it is completely fine. Besides, it's Sheila and you know how it is with her. The point of this minigame is to destroy all turrets before the time's up. Now, by looking at the number of enemies here, you could think that it is clearly not possible to stomp the turrets without killing anyone, but if we stomp them really carefully, the enemies just fall down. But still, there is another issue. After stomping the turrets, there is an explosion that sometimes kills Rhinocs if they are standing too close, and since I was the one who caused the explosion, this counts as a kill. However, if the turret aims at me, shoots the cannonball and hits an enemy, that is clearly not my fault. And this is definitely how it works in the real world, don't Google that. Unfortunately, it is still as hard as it looks, because the explosion always kills some wandering Rhinoc, which you can't always see, but you can hear. After failing a couple of times for like 15 minutes, eventually I was able to clear the level by disposing of enemies using a completely legal way, by aiming the cannon at them and shooting them and killing them, but not by my own hands. Now, you might have noticed that there are significantly fewer enemies than there were before. The reason is something that we haven't talked about yet: adaptive difficulty. You see, Spyro 3 introduced a dynamic balancing feature into the game, so that if you're pretty bad at the game, like I am, the internal difficulty switches to easy and gives you fewer enemies in the level, simplifies some scoring minigames, makes the enemies less aggressive and so on. So by being bad, we actually make this run much easier to complete. Unless there is something later on that completely screws us with this balancing feature, surely not. There are 2 more eggs in the last area which will both involve killing more enemies, so we have to skip them. Now we can get to the end of the level and... oh fuck. Yeah, as you can see, we are in a bit of a pickle. This seal is tightly captured by an octopus. There's no way to talk to her, or move her, or free her using only pacifist means. At first I thought that the Rhinoc with a gun could somehow shoot the octopus, but unfortunately he always shoots straight and hits a wall, and I doubt it would have even worked if the bullet could reach the enemy. This means that Spyro has to kill. Even though it was a hostage situation, this still makes Spyro a murderer. But according to Wikipedia, to be considered a mass murderer in the US, the person must kill 3 or more people, so there is still hope for Spyro. I believe in you, my purple friend. We are finally done with all the levels, but we can quickly enter Mushroom Speedway to collect some gems, as well as win a race to get one more egg. Hunter's egg is out of the question, he is a maniac. Finally, we can proceed to the next homeworld, but not before fighting our first boss, Buzz, with the help of Sheila. As you can guess, the bosses in this game cannot be skipped and must be killed in order to progress to the next world. There is no way past this, but I've still tried to find a way to bypass this. After attacking Buzz until he was one hit away, I've tried to make him fall down in the lava by himself. If I push him into the lava and he dies, I obviously can't pretend like it wasn't my kill. But whatever I tried, be it making him fall by himself with his spinning attack, or forcing him to run off the edge, there was just no way to make him fall. Unfortunately, this means that I have to push him into the lava for one last time, which counts as Spyro's second kill.
Objection!
Actually, if you rewind the footage, you can see that even though Spyro pushed Buzz into the lava, Buzz does not die from this. His health bar at this point is clearly still shows that he is alive. However, after Sheila jumps on his head, then and only then his health bar starts going down to 0, and, being unable to escape, he eventually dies. And, considering the past murders by Sheila, it only makes sense that she would cold-heartedly resort to another bloody murder. Even if it can be claimed that Spyro was complicit in a crime, the final blow was still delivered by Sheila, which does not count as murder. Yeah, that makes sense. After another case of obvious non-murdering, we arrive at our second homeworld, Midday Gardens. At this point we are sitting at 22 eggs and 2057 gems, and our kill count is at 10, one of which is Spyro's kill. We can get an egg under the water, but our first order of business is to free our second playable character, Sergeant James Byrd. Despite his military background, I still hope that there is a way to avoid unnecessary victims in Sergeant Byrd's base. Unfortunately, this is another escort level where we need to help a hummingbird to get to the end of the level. Oh no. Well, actually, the hummingbird is a lot braver than those mountain goats, and if you simply open up a way to her and proceed forward, she will just follow along. So you simply need to blow up a couple of doors, then open up a path forward by using weights, proceed through an area with a bunch of enemies, and she will not stop following you until the very end. So she stays at this exact place, and the end of the level is here. For some reason, this last stretch of the road scares her so much that she refuses to move no matter what. As it turns out, to make her move, you only need to kill one enemy, this Rhinoc. And right in front of him, there is another Rhinoc that shoots plungers? If we fly above them, there is another flying Rhinoc with a net, and if we position ourselves just right, we will be able to kill him with that plunger. Now, if you are thinking what I'm thinking, then I don't actually know what exactly they're shooting at us. But my idea was to force that other Rhinoc to shoot the Rhinoc we need. There is a problem, of course. There is always a problem. Spyro 3 works very interestingly. Most enemies will never attack you if you are not looking at them. So we can't just land between them, make them shoot at the same time and kill each other. Oh no. What we have to do is to land, then turn and look at the Rhinoc, wait until he shoots at us, and then see if the shot actually reached the enemy. Because there is another problem, the plunger has a limited range and falls on the ground before it reaches another Rhinoc. So we have to hover just slightly so that the shot will be a little higher, but not too high. and we can't turn the camera fast enough to see how close we were each time, and you can clearly see how frustrating it was. However, eventually I figured I could stand close to the other Rhinoc and see where the shot went, and soon enough I was able to hit the target. Yeah, it just bounced off. Well, this means this is another necessary kill for us. That's unfortunate, but much better than the war crime we had to commit with Sheila. We can get 2 eggs from the escorted hummingbird as well as 5 others to get the third and final egg and carefully pick up all the gems that are lying around. Before proceeding to the next level, I've decided to come back to Sunrise Springs one last time to complete the Sergeant Byrd section in Molten Crater, which requires us to deliver heads to 5 statues. With an egg as a reward and 1 more hidden egg, we can leave and proceed to the next level, Enchanted Towers. Enchanted Towers is a level that features quite a lot of enemies that are hard to avoid, but otherwise no one has to be killed to progress. We can get 1 egg on a random platform and another egg by blowing up the Sorceress statue. Now, if you've never played Spyro 3, I want to put a volume warning, but please know that this is the original volume of the explosion in the game. Under the statue there is a skateboarding minigame where this time we can get 2 eggs. One by repeating some tricks and another by destroying Hunter with our sick moves. This could be counted as a kill, but I've lost 2 times, so if anything that was more of an embarrassment. The remaining 2 eggs either involve killing some dinos or doing another escort mission with a dog that gets stuck at the very beginning by chasing a Rhinoc that we need to kill to progress. After this there is a cutscene where Sparks brutally eats a butterfly. We can then grab another egg in the cave and proceed to Icy Peak. In this level there are not a lot of enemies, but there are these guys that love killing themselves, which obviously does not count as a kill, but just to be sure I've tried to avoid triggering the explosion myself and got 2 easy eggs. There is an area that is once again blocked by moneybags, but we don't need to unlock it since this is a skating minigame where we are required to kill enemies. 2 more eggs are stolen by thieves, which means we can only grab gems and head back. Not a lot to say. In the hub world we can easily get 2 more eggs, but not the last one, which is once again in the hands of a thief. On to the next level, Spooky Swamp. I've died here more times than I would like to admit, mainly because of these big guys that have aimbot and can hit you even if you are clearly outside their range. Otherwise, the level once again requires you to pay moneybags, which I know can easily be skipped, but let's stick to the usual course of action, and 2 eggs that are lying around. Now we can head to the end and talk to... Oh crap, this is another hostage situation. Yeah, just like in Seashell Shore, we can't talk to the NPC until this Rhinoc is dead. Their shots can kill alligators, but not vice versa. There's another Rhinoc across the bridge, but his shots always clip the bridge. Does this remind you of something? But I doubt that would have even worked once again, which means this is another kill. Spyro had to take another life. But remember, still not a mass murderer. 1 egg is the boss fight that we can't do, and 2 more are in the Sheila subsection with a minigame that I hated the most as a kid. Not sure why, I might have been quite stupid. But fortunately no kills here and 2 more eggs to our name. We are almost done with the second world. The last level is called Bamboo Terrace. So I'm going to be completely honest. This level sucks. This level absolutely, utterly sucks. All because of the very first area. You see, our task at the very start is to free 2 pandas and make them open a door that is blocking our path. 1 panda is harassed by a deer while the other is chased by a Rhinoc. The deer cannot kill the Rhinoc and the Rhinoc cannot kill the deer, and we can't proceed without getting rid of them. Luckily, or unluckily, there is a 3rd enemy at the start of the level that shoots fireworks at us. And after a bit of research I found out that these fireworks can actually kill other enemies if they hit them directly. And I mean directly. The explosion does not count. As you can see, the firework itself just hits the ground shortly after passing Spyro. However, if we jump at the right time, the firework will go a little bit higher and travel a little bit further, but still not far enough to reach the goat and certainly not far enough to reach the big guy. I've tried to lure the ram closer, but remember, it will not charge at me unless I'm looking directly at it, and the Rhinoc will not shoot me unless I look directly at him. So will this even be possible? After a while I found out that if you stay as far away as possible from the enemy and jump at the perfect time, the firework will go a little bit further. There is also a random trajectory that the firework takes at some point, which makes it kind of spin in a spiral pattern. However, it is totally random or depends on the exact Spyro's height, so it can either just immediately fall to the ground or fly chaotically and still hit the ground, but now much closer to the dock. At this point I've been hit by fireworks a lot and died many times, and at some point after respawning I saw this. I thought, hey, maybe the game bugged or maybe the Rhinoct exploded himself somehow, so I re-entered the level and still nothing. The only way to beat the level is now gone. So what the hell happened? Well, you remember how I told you about the adaptive difficulty in Spyro? Apparently, I was so ass at this level that the game took pity on me and reduced the game's difficulty. And the only way to change it back is to beat more levels or get more eggs. And I left this level for last. Now, there are only 3 ways out of this. Either give up and kill those 2 enemies and finish the level, completely restart the game, or put in a cheat code that increases the difficulty. Which I did, and before you say this is cheating, I literally make the game harder for myself. I could simply say, oh yeah, there is no way to avoid those kills now, but no. I decided that I will never give up, and do it by any means. Oh, it didn't work. But why? Well, surprise, there is another hidden mechanic in the game. While there is adaptive global difficulty, there is also adaptive local difficulty. That, as I understand, cannot be changed with cheats. Oh my god, I'm going insane. The only way left to increase the difficulty back is to complete the level, so I decided to temporarily disable these 2 enemies and proceed further. Luckily for the rest of the level you don't need to kill anyone. The only difficult part is keeping raising the bridge at the second area, which can be done by doing a backwards jump from the water. We can get 3 eggs in this area. Others are either guarded by a thief, involve shooting Rhinocs with a gun, or are inside Bentley's area. Now we can finally exit the level, go back, and voila! The Rhinoc is here. And look, those enemies we disabled are back, and now we can dispose of them properly. You remember how I desperately tried to make the Rhinoc shoot far enough? It's time to repeat that. After a while I found out that if you run back after baiting the firework attack and jump, the firework will travel much further, and the chance that it will spin instead of falling is much higher. With this knowledge, taking out the capybara was not much of a problem. However, the big Rhinoc, this was a whole different story. The big Rhinoc likes walking. He certainly gets his 10k steps a day, I can tell you that. And even if you are able to get the shot far enough, the Rhinoc should be at the perfect position to be directly hit by the firework. And trust me, this was absolute hell. My hand was hurting from pressing jump all the time, I was getting impatient, I was dying, but just like Aho 41, I never gave up. And after spending an hour and 30 minutes total on this level, yes! Yes! So yes, in fact, you can beat this level without killing anyone, which I did. I never killed anyone. In any case, it's time to head to the next... Oh, Sparks, did you wanna say something? Oh, thanks, Sparks. That's right, don't forget to subscribe. Maybe we can get to 500 subs. Please. Sparks, did you want to say anything else? No, we are not doing that. Let's finally proceed to the third area, and what awaits us is the second boss fight against Spike. Spike might have given me a hard time when I was 3, but right now he's a pain since there is no way to kill him without, well, killing him. And now there is no Sheila to help me commit some crimes, so this is another mandatory kill. Which means we are up to 13 kills total and 3 kills for Spyro, which means that he is a mass murderer. But only if we look at how the mass murder was defined by the US Congress. But remember, at the very start we switched from the NTSC version of the game to the PAL version, which means the prevalent law is the European law, and in the United Kingdom a mass murder is defined as a killing of 4 or more people, not 3. This means that Spyro is still not a mass murderer. We arrive at the Evening Lake, the third homeworld of the game. After getting our first egg, before any other level, we as usual will free our new friend, Bentley. And as you can already guess, this is yet another escort level with lots of enemies. We can't progress unless we kill a bunch of them, including 2 big Rhinox that of course can't damage one another, as well as shoot 3 seals by deflecting snowballs that they throw at us. Maybe it should count as self-defense. Fortunately, the rest of the enemies are not required to be killed, so in total we get 3 more eggs and 5 more kills. Still not as bad as Sheila. We can quickly go back to Bamboo Terrace to complete Bentley's side mission while carefully avoiding Rhinox to get us 1 more egg. By the way, I figured out that you can also get 1 more egg in this level, since the Firework Rhino can take out the thief if you do not scare him off. We will also visit the previous homeworld Speedway, where we can complete the race as well as get not a lot of gems at all. Hunter's mission requires murder, again. At this point our stats look like this. We still need 46 eggs to complete the game, which is less than half, but still a lot. The next level we visit is Frozen Altars, where we get a power that would be extremely useful in every other level in the game, Ice Breath. This allows us to freeze enemies without killing them. The first obstacle we encounter, however, cannot be solved with this power-up. A big snowman is blocking our path. However, you can simply glide past it just like this, and it is quite easy to do. Then we can get 2 eggs in the Bentley's boxing minigame, where we can beat the shit out of a Yeti but not kill him, with a very clever set of punches, being spamming literally the same move over and over. Upon return we are met with yet another snowman, but we can also glide past it without any issues. There are 2 eggs lying around the level, another one we get by getting to the end, and the last one is the hockey minigame that is totally PETA approved. Surprisingly, we were able to get all 6 eggs in this level. Sure hope this trend continues, haha ha. Next level is Fireworks Factory, with the most banger music in the entire game in my opinion. Just listen to it. And it features a lot of ninja enemies which can appear out of your sight, so it is a good idea to never charge through empty areas. Otherwise we can utilize the aforementioned trick where you do not look at enemies so they do not attack you, and you can get through just fine. Even the sub area with the egg is quite easy when you carefully avoid any confrontation. We can get 1 egg hidden in plain sight, and after witnessing the most cinematic montage in the history of video games, we can get our 3rd and last egg. The others either require you to kill dragons or complete the Agent 9 sub-area. After dumbass Hunter gets himself captured, we can proceed to the next level, Lost Fleet. And oh boy, it's not an easy one. Immediately after starting, here is what happened. Yeah, so when you try to charge past crabs in this level, since they try to follow you, you immediately kill them. After restarting the level, I realized that if you decide to not charge past them, you can't avoid them at all. You can't jump over either, their hitboxes hit you all the time, which means that you either have to take damage or go through by turning the camera away from them. But in areas with many crabs, this becomes almost impossible. So yeah, I died quite a lot here. Right now we can only get 2 eggs here, one of them is hidden in the chest at the end and another one requires you to swim through some spicy water. There is a submarine minigame, and at first I was sure these were not alive, but yeah, they are operated by Rhinox. There is also a skating minigame, but Hunter is currently enjoying his time off somewhere else. This is not great for our egg count, but we can get 4 more eggs in the hub world and proceed to the last level, Charmed Ridge. Here we are met with a lot of enemies that constantly try to kill us as usual. One egg is hidden in the cave, another one is on a platform that is a little tricky to reach, and two others we can peacefully get in the sub-area that requires a lot of IQ. On our path to the end we meet a magic cat that blocks the path forward. Now there is another cat standing very close that shoots magic missiles, but it is just barely does not reach the enemy we need to get rid of. There are also Rhinox that shoot arrows, but the flying distance of the arrow is even worse. After trying to find a sneaky way around, unfortunately I could not find any. I looked at the speedrun and they do a proxy jump to reach the end, which of course is off the table. Unfortunately this means that we have to kill the cat to continue forward, which marks the 4th kill for Spyro. He is a mass murderer now. Please keep your distance and do not look directly into his eyes. And as though fate played a role, our beloved Spyro immediately encounters one more obstacle, another cat. Now there is no way to get past him, since the final NPC does not spawn until the cat is killed. There are two enemies that are located very close, a Rhinox with a bow and a second cat. This cat could kill the other one, but it won't shoot at me until the Rhinox is dead. And the Rhinox cannot be killed by any other enemy here, and the Rhinox himself does not reach the cat. After trying to find a way out of this for a long time, I eventually gave up, which means it is yet another kill. As soon as Spyro became a mass murderer, everything went sideways. After freeing the NPC, we can return to the overworld, since the last egg requires lots of killing from Sergeant Byrd. Finally, we can proceed on to the last homeworld, but as usual we have to fight a boss first. Now it is a flying one, and his name is Scorch. Finding a way to avoid killing Scorch would be out of the question, I will tell you that much. And this is where our skills will not matter at all. The only thing that matters is RNG. There are two random parameters that affect the fight. First is the weapon. Bentley can give us either 50 of the red rockets or one green rocket. And green rocket does not do more damage. So would you rather have 50 ammo or 1 ammo? And we obviously want 50 ammo. The second random parameter is Scorch's attack. First he can do a lightning attack, which we absolutely want to see all the time, and the second, he can spawn enemies. Having enemies on the field and needing to avoid them would absolutely suck, of course, but this is not the main issue. You see, there is a game mechanic where Scorch will not lower his shield if there are 4 or more enemies on the field, and we can only damage him when he does not have a shield. You see a problem? At the start of the fight he will always spawn crabs, and he can spawn 2, 3 or 4 crabs in one attack. Even if he spawns only 2 or 3 crabs, with his next attack he can easily spawn more and we would immediately lose and have to restart the fight, since we are basically soft locked. So we need to pray to RNG gods, not only that we get red rockets, but that his first attack will either be a lightning attack, or that he spawns no more than 3 crabs and does not spawn more later. Luckily, we can sometimes interrupt him spawning more enemies by spamming rockets, but it does not work every time. When you get rid of part of his health, he is now able to spawn 2 other enemies, TNT guys and whatever this is. Those enemies explode themselves, which we like to see more than the crabs of course, but even if RNG gods blessed you until this point, Scorch spawns Buzz. And if Buzz is in the arena, you guessed it, Scorch will never lower his shield. So after many tries I was able to get an attempt where Scorch spawned 2 crabs, then 2 TNTs and then did 3 lightning attacks. But in the end I was able to get through this RNG fest. While this is unfortunately another unavoidable kill, Scorch definitely deserved it after making me suffer so much. At this point we have a little over 3000 gems and 75 eggs, as well as a 21 combo streak. Since Hunter is now finally free from his vacation, we can return to do his minigame, but not before freeing the last playable character, Agent 9. If you've played Spyro 3 previously, you know that we do not need to get to the end of any of the levels in the last homeworld, so we can skip anything we want, and in the ideal scenario would get to 100 eggs without any more kills. So even before unlocking Agent 9, I already knew that I would probably not be able to get far in this level. And I was right, I could not even get past the first area without killing a Rhino. It's time to go back and finish what we have left off in the Evening Lake. Hunter's skateboard area in Lost Fleet requires us to win a race against Rhinox, but unlike speedway races, here you seem to basically kill your opponents, which is a big no-no for us. There are also crabs all over the racetrack, so between doing tricks, avoiding crabs and trying not to crash into Rhinox, this minigame was actually not that bad, probably because after dying a couple of times your opponents basically become brain dead and you can win pretty easily. There is also another race with Hunter, but it would require you to murder crabs. Another level we skipped is Honey Speedway. Here as usual we can't get the egg for the time attack, but we can get one for racing bumblebees. Surprisingly, we can also get an egg from Hunter's mission, where we need to escape while being chased by a UFO. Said UFO crashes completely by itself without my involvement, which means it is not my fault. Now we are done with every area in the game except those in Midnight Mountain. After grabbing 4 eggs here, we are at 82 eggs in total, with 18 eggs to go and only 5 levels remaining. First level is the Crystal Islands, where at the very start there are 2 enemies that do not let us progress unless we can kill them both. And while we can get one of them to kill the other with a carefully timed shot, there is no way we can turn fast enough to let them kill each other at the same time. Disappointed, I returned to do another level instead. Haunted Tomb. While there are a ton of enemies, you can effortlessly get past them and get 3 eggs here, one of them being an extremely annoying slide that should burn in hell. There is a tank minigame where we need to shoot Rhinox, as well as an Agent 9 subsection that is now permanently closed for us. Next level is Dino Mines, that could be extremely unfair if it wasn't for the fact that we can turn away our camera and get through pretty easily. Overall, we can get 3 eggs in the main area and 1 in the subsection, where if we stay at the top we shouldn't hit any enemies on our path. The final main level of the home world is Desert Ruins. Here we are greeted by extremely annoying enemies that we really would like to kill, but we can't. We can proceed further and... wait, if I jump on a platform and the platform lowers and kills someone, does it count as my kill? Just to be sure, we can glide past the platforms and damage boost to avoid it. There is a Sheila section that is not that difficult and requires wisely spacing out our jumps and doing damage boosts. With 2 eggs from there, we can get 1 more egg not too far away and get 1 more in... oh, this again. You have to kill this scorpion to get it. There is 1 more scorpion, but the egg is placed right between them and there is no angle at which the shot will hit the scorpion we need. God damn it, egg, why is your hitbox so damn big? Actually, if we could theoretically get past this scorpion and make it shoot the other one while it is falling, then maybe we could get that egg. But listen, even if there is a 1 in 100 chance that I could do it, that scorpion dies and I guess it would count as a kill. After going through this hell of a corridor, we arrive at the end and get 1 more egg from Lara Croft. There is 1 more minigame we can't do because we need to kill Rhinox. Who would have thought? At last, the actually final level we can do is Harbor Speedway. We can get 1 egg for the race and another egg from Hunter. This is similar to the previous speedway where the UFO crashes on its own volition. Officer, I swear I did not do anything. After completing the speedway, we are at 95 eggs. Just 5 more eggs and we could finish this, but we have no more levels to complete. I guess it's time to return to Crystal Islands and bang our heads against the wall. Now, as a reminder, there are 2 flying beavers at the start that shoot projectiles and we have to kill both of them to progress. Making one kill the other is pretty easy, you just have to stand between them and time your jump. However, getting both of them to shoot each other seems impossible. Well, it's actually not impossible. While turning the camera is slow, you can snap it to the direction Spyro is looking by pressing RB or LB on the controller. This means that if you change your camera from active to passive, then stand between the beavers at equal distance, look at one of the beavers while turning Spyro away from it, then jump at the right time, then quickly snap the camera and then jump again, you can force them to shoot each other. It actually sounds harder than it is and only took me around 15 minutes, but I am extremely proud of finding this out myself. Good job, me. Proceeding further through the level and getting an egg, there is another obstacle in our path where a magician refuses to activate the whirlwind until you get rid of this bear. Which, you guessed it, you can get rid of with the exact same trick. After getting the egg at the end, we can get one more from the much less shitty slide, as well as one on the top of the arch with the flying power-up. Two others that we can't get are Bentley's Whack-A-Mole section and the Flying Thief. With 4 more eggs, we are at 99 now, and after looking through the atlas, I couldn't think of any eggs that wouldn't require killing at least one enemy. So is this it? We will get such an unsatisfying ending? Well, you remember how I told you about the egg in Desert Ruins? Where even if we could make the scorpion shoot the other one, we would force the first one to die because of the platform we land on? Well, what if we just, never land on it?
Let's go.
That's right, the only egg left that could theoretically be obtained without us killing anyone, we got it. We got exactly 100 eggs. I believe there are no other possible eggs we could get without killing at least someone. Not one more, not one less, while only killing enemies to progress. And we got exactly 100 of them. This is cinema. Now we can finally proceed to the final fight against the Sorceress. And the only obstacle being an occasional sheep on the arena, I whooped the Sorceress' ass as hard as I could for every difficult trick I had to deal with, as well as for every enemy I had to kill to progress through the game. And with the Sorceress finally dead, we add the final kill to our total and finish the game. Except she didn't actually die.